the drums.
Live from the AM950 studios in the Twin Cities and restrained only by FCC regulations, this is Pardon the Dissent. Now here is your host and agitator, Joey Vincent.
Hello, Twin Cities. Hello, people all over the United States that are tuning in via TuneIn Radio. Welcome, everyone, to Pardon the Dissent. Joey Vincent here. I'm going to try to rush through all this business stuff because I got a bunch of stories I want to share with you guys. Let's just dive right in. Today's date, July 20th, the year, still 2015. The show produced by the man with the skills in the booth, Tony Williamette. Got some wonderful sponsors as well I want to mention just coming out. Bell Bonds Doctor, our title sponsor. Natural Pure Drinking Water, of which I am drinking some currently right now. Minnehaha Recording Company, Stupid Simple Branding, and Scotty and the Don. All wonderful sponsors. I would like you to go to the Pardon the Dissent website. That is pardonthedissent.com. Check out the website. Look at all the cool stuff we got going on there. But make sure you hit that title sponsor tab. And then that way you can go to the websites and see stuff for all our sponsors, and you can help us by supporting them. You also find podcast options and video options and all kinds of cool things that we're added on there too. One other thing I wanted to point out, let me first start with the good news before I do the sales pitch. The good news is that is there no din to that? Just constant drums? You're waiting for me to say
just endless drums, yeah.
I'm waiting for a big finale or something. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, here's the deal. I've been talking before about wanting to expand the show and take the show to, I had mentioned before, 5 nights a week. Well, we're going to do that, but kinda. Here's what's going to happen. Between either now and the next 3 months, I don't know exactly how soon it's going to progress. It could progress faster, but it's going to be, my goal is 3 months or sooner. Pardon the Dissent will be live here on AM950 for 4 nights a week, Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. Boom. The show is going to get bigger. On top of that, we're also going to do a podcast-only version of the show that we'll release either Friday or Saturday. So when we get to that point, 5 shows within a week. And I just decided to do the 4 nights a week because it's a little bit more affordable and easier to do here at the station. So you can just listen to it as a podcast if you want 5. Now, to get to that point, like I said, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some finances to get there. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is do the 1 show a week that we're doing right now. And hopefully starting this week, I think we got it worked out that we will also start doing the podcast-only version of the show starting this week as well, too. So later on this week, hopefully I'll have a new podcast episode up there so you can have a live episode and a podcast episode till we get going. Now, lastly, one of the things you will find on that on the Pardon the Dissent website, pardonthedissent.com, is you will find a GoFundMe fundraiser started there for the show. It is the goal of that is $4,000. And what I'm going to do with that $4,000, if I earn it, is invested into the show as far as marketing materials, promotions, and all those things, and the stuff that we use to build the show, to achieve sponsorship, and to pay for airtime and production costs for the podcast and all that stuff too. If I get that, that's great. I don't want anybody who's hurting financially in any kind of way to donate any money. If you've got some extra money you want to throw to it, fine, do it. But I tell you what, if you've got extra money, make sure you maybe donate to something that's a little bit more important, because one way or the other, I'm going to earn this money to make this show happen and continue into getting bigger. I'm just putting this out there for anyone who wants to help that mission and help me achieve that. Please do it, but please don't put yourself out in any kind of way. And also, I've got some really cool prizes, rewards for people who choose to help me and all that stuff too. So again, go to pardonthedissent.com, check that out, click on the link for the GoFundMe, read all the stuff I've got available there, and we'll go from there. When it happens, it happens. If I get the money sooner, then we will be up to 4 nights a week plus the podcast sooner than the 3 months. That's the mission. All right, let's get into some stories here. I got a couple minutes left. I might not get to all of this one. Let's start with this. This is a story. I hate doing these stories, but I have to address it because it's been the talk of talk radio for the past 2 days. Another one of these stories that I could just consider a distraction story, but again, I have to address it as from my point of view, just to answer all the other crap that I'm hearing right now. I'm talking about the the battle of words between Donald Trump, Republican candidate, and Senator McCain right now. I guess Trump, being Trump, said something when he was at a speech in Ames, Iowa. Here's the quote right here. And please forgive me, I don't do a really good Donald Trump impression. I'm too poor to sound like a rich guy, but just use your imagination. Here's the quote. He was not a war hero, Trump said of McCain at a summit of 3,000 socially conservative activists. He continued sarcastically, he's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured. That's what he said. People are losing their mind, right? You heard about this, Tony?
I heard about it. I didn't hear the exact quote, though.
That's what his quote was.
He ended it with, I like people that weren't captured?
Yeah. It's a jerky thing to say. Is it insulting? Yeah, I think it's insulting.
Well, they are better people.
What, people that are captured?
People that aren't captured.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're capture free, I guess.
Right.
But I get it. And people are going like, you can't talk about former military guy. McCain was a war hero. He was held. He was a POW. He had an opportunity to go free sooner, but he chose to stay there. He's heroic for all that. And while that might be true, I think I agree with Trump a little bit.
Well, I'll get that sample.
Yeah, I do. I do. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, I'm going to tell you why I agree with Trump about what he said about McCain. Right here on Pardon the Dissent. We'll be right back.
Corrupted politicians playing games, bringing us down to boost their fame. They must be joking, thinking we will fall, but they're like flies moving the wall. We stand tall from beginning to end, with help from fans and all our friends. Freedom of speech will never die. For us to have, our ancestors died. Don't keep thinking that we will quit. We'll always stand and never sit. We're too live.
Hello?
Oh, man, I'm really in a world of hurt now.
Really? How long have you been there?
I don't really know, but I have to be at work tomorrow.
Oh, man, you gotta call the doctor.
Really? But it's so late, and doctors make me nervous. Maybe I should just wait here and see if this gets any better.
No, trust me. The Bell Bonds doctor is always the best option, and he's available 24/7. Unlike other Bell Bondsmen, this guy is extremely trustworthy and professional. He can get you out in no time. Give him a call.
One day, even you could find yourself needing the help of a bail bond service. That's why you should know there is a professional, dependable, and affordable option. Bail Bonds Doctor. Before you find yourself in this position, put this number in your phone, 612-332-3030. Available 24/7 at 612-332-3030. Online at bailbondsdoctor.com. The doctor is in when you need to get out.
We want to hear from you, so get connected to Pardon the Dissent. You can find us on Facebook by searching for Pardon the Dissent. Follow us on Twitter at PT Dissent. Email us at pardonthedissent@gmail.com and visit our website, pardonthedissent.com.
I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream. Wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid. You and your family. If I was president, I'd get elected on Friday. Assassinated.
Pardon the Dissent. Back at you live from AM950 studios here in the Twin Cities. Also, I forgot to mention, if you want to make a phone call tonight, I may be able to squeeze a one call in. And if you do want to call, it's 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Real fast, let me tell you about one of these wonderful sponsors that I mentioned earlier. I want to tell you a little bit more about Bell Bonds Doctor. If you, like me, have ever been arrested for, I don't know, maybe enjoying some delicious herb on the street, and an officer said, hey, you can't enjoy that delicious herb, you need to come with me, and then they put you in handcuffs and lock you up, you need to get out of jail. That's a true story, by the way. And when you do need to get out of jail, you got to call a bail bondsman. So the bail bondsman who I want you to call, who I want you to get to know, is Bell Bonds Doctor. Okay, this is the bail bonds company of my choice that I use. That if I ever get arrested again, that's the one I will call. So I want you to get familiar with them by going to their website. Go to bailbondsdoctor.com. Check out their website. They got some great quotes from some of their past clients. They've got a very great description of how their business works and how you deal with them and the services they provide. So you can get familiar with them. And also I want you to keep their number in your phone, 612-332-3030, 612-332-3030, because that's the number you're going to have to call to get out of jail when that happens, if it happens. I hope it doesn't, but if it does, call Bail Bonds Doctor. All right, when we left the first segment, I teased you a little bit by telling you that I agree, to a degree, with Donald Trump about what he said about McCain. Again, I'll read that quote again. The quote that everybody's losing their brains about is, he's not a war hero, right? He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured. People lost their mind, said he's being insulting to a war hero, present tense, war hero. Here's where I agree. Okay, first off, I know my reasons are different than Trump's. I know Trump is Trump, and he's trying to grab attention, and he's doing all his Trumpy things, and that's what his deal is, okay? When I say I agree with him, I agree with him because I don't think McCain is a hero anymore, right? Like I appreciate the story of his struggle when he was a POW. I understand that. But I think things changed when he went from POW and soldier to being a politician, right? Because what is he now? What is McCain's deal now? Well, what he is now, to me, what I see, what a lot of other people see, is he is a mouthpiece for the military-industrial complex, right? Remember bomb, Iran? Remember how funny that was to him, right? That's what I think of when I think about McCain. I think about him and decisions and things that he advocates for, how they affect the lives of active duty military and also innocent civilians. Because it's people like him and him directly who lead to more war, more conflict, and it leads to more death. So do you want me to think that that's a hero? No, I'm not going to do it. It's not a hero to me anymore, right? You stop being a hero when you get into the position where you're advocating for more violence and for more war, and your actions lead to more death. You're not a hero anymore to me. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to play that game. Trump's reasons were Trump's reasons. Mine are my own reasons. I don't know. And if you need another reason of why McCain isn't a hero to me, maybe you need to revisit the Keating 5 and the savings and loan scandal. How many people remember that? You guys remember what that is? Savings and loan scandal that happened in the late 80s involving McCain and, surprise, surprise, 4 Democrat senators. That's probably why you're not hearing a lot about this story on the progressive liberal talk radio here, because it was one Republican, McCain, 4 Democrats, and that basically their actions involving Lincoln Savings alone led to the loss of, I think it was around $3 billion in lost funds through the scandal. But you need to look that up if you're a younger person, you're not familiar with that. Google Keating 5 wiki or whatever and find the story to that. And I'll just give you another reason why, to me, McCain, not a hero. Not in my book. Not anymore. Whatever. There's one more word war going on between Republican presidential candidates. Let's go ahead and knock this one out, get this one out of the way. Okay. We'll do that. We'll get to that call in just a second. Here's the deal. Here's the headline. Walker and Bush clash over when to go to war after Iran. This involves a quote from Governor Scott Walker. He said over the weekend the next president of the United States needed to be prepared to take aggressive military action on their very first day in office, including against Iran. The presidential contender, who had promised to terminate the nuclear agreement with Iran upon his inauguration, made the remark while speaking with reporters at the Family Leadership Summit in Ames, Iowa on Saturday. That's what he said, and then here was Jeb's response, because we definitely want to know what Jeb said. One thing I don't want to do is just say, as a candidate, I'm going to tear up an agreement on the first day, Bush said in Nevada on Thursday. First, said Bush, he needs to have his team in place. That's great. That sounds great. But maybe you ought to check with your allies first. Maybe you ought to appoint a Secretary of State, maybe Secretary of Defense. You might want to have a team in place before you take an act like that. So these two are fighting. And I tell you what, Mr. Walker, you know you're a little bit extreme when a Bush chastises you from jumping the gun to war too quickly. Good for you. We have a caller. Let's go ahead and do that. Is this Carrie or Kari? I can't see it.
It's Carrie.
Carrie. Is Carrie there?
Hi.
Hey, Carrie. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm marvelous. Living the life.
Okay, very good.
You have a problem with the show?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is it technical or is it content?
Your screener, Tony, I had sort of a small rant with him. I love Minneapolis. I was born in Minneapolis.
It's a great city.
I spent the last 35 years of my life building movie sets in Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
I moved back here when I turned 66. This is my home. I love my retirement. I love my neighborhood. I love the people that I know. I suggested to Tony, you guys got to start listening to the really progressive, common sense people like Tom Hartman and Stephanie Miller and Rachel Maddow. You go to the content. Stop selling the sponsors. Stop trying to sell your show. Go to content.
Right.
And then you'll get the commercial support you need.
Okay.
Don't sell yourself. I was married to two actresses, and
at the same time.
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish. They sort of
overlap, run an ad for that.
So to speak. But go to content. And this whole Donald Trump thing. Just do your research. Come up with substance. Come up, Donald Trump had 4 draft deferments. Donald Trump is recognized, sort of a semi-criminal on the East Coast and dealing with me. He inherited $2 million from his old man, and he built an empire, and he's turning the Republican Party into foolish idiots.
Right.
Go with this stuff.
Well, I think you're too kind by saying he's kind of a criminal, because I would say he is more than kind of. But I get you, Carrie. Here's the struggle that I have to deal with, aside from the fact being a new live radio host and only having a background in podcasting, is also that I have to make this show pay for itself. Like right now, I still pay for a third of the show out of pocket. So I have to really do what I can with my sponsors to keep them happy, to keep the show on the air, because I can't afford to put it all on myself. That being said, I totally appreciate where you're coming from, and I wish I had the time to do straight content.
I'll make a $500, contribution, but stop soliciting for sponsors. Go for substance and content.
I will try to do better. I appreciate and totally respect that. Because again, like I said, that's what I want to do. I wish I could just sit here and talk about content straight through with no commercial sponsors. If there's a rich person in there, Donald Trump, if you want to support this show 100%, we'll talk. Maybe I'll comb my hair differently to make you happy. Whatever. But I gotta walk that line, Carrie. I gotta walk that line. So, do you have anything else? Any other pros or cons about the show?
No, that was about it. That was my first impression after listening tonight.
Is this tonight the first night you've listened to the show?
Yes, first time.
Okay, go back to some of the back episodes and give me a good thorough listening to, so you. So you can hear everything.
You guys, I love Minnesota. I love Minneapolis. For 35 years in Southern California, I talked about where I came from and the quality of living and how progressive and common sense the people that live in Minnesota have such great common sense. And, you've got to emphasize what Minnesota is about, or Minneapolis,
Right.
Just hang in there, but do your research. Be sharp.
All right.
Look at Tom Hartman.
I'm a big fan.
Hero.
Big fan.
Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, Karen.
Okay, Joe.
Take care.
Best of luck. Bye-bye.
All right, good. That's a good phone call. I'll take that criticism. I appreciate that. I totally get that. I hope he listens to the rest of the show. This is his first show, so he's only heard the first
I hope he continues to listen.
12 minutes here. So, because I got some more stuff for you. I got a few seconds left here before we go to break. I've got a bunch of cop news I want to go to. Maybe he'll appreciate some of that stuff. I've got some drone stories. I've got some religion stories. I got all kinds of things for you, Carrie. Strap yourself in. Get ready. Pardon the Dissent. Joey Vincent. Sponsorship.
Please overthrow governments overseas in a breeze. Politicians in my pockets for a few hundred G's. So if I'm ever in court, my assets are never freeze. I got a job and a house and a bank account. When I'm out, I doubt that's something you can say. And if not, then a fake death like Kenneth Lay. Make money every day the world burns on its axis while y'all struggling to pay taxes.
Are you a musician or songwriter looking for quality production and recording? Minnehaha Recording Company can help. With over 10 years of experience in recording and production, Minnehaha Recording Company offers recording, mixing, and mastering on any type of project, including full bands, hip-hop artists, and podcast production. For more info, visit minnehaharecording.com or call 612-564-8088.
Pardon the Dissent. We're back at you. This segment of Pardon the Dissent is sponsored by Kerry. He said he was going to donate $500 in his phone call, so I'm not going to advertise for anything but Kerry. Pro Kerry and his two Hollywood brides. Thanks for calling in, Kerry. Let's do some cop news. This wouldn't be Pardon the Dissent if I didn't talk about the cops, right? Here's something kind of semi-regular I want to start doing. If you're not familiar with this, you need to check it out. The Guardian put up a story not too long ago, and it was basically a running tally, a tool that you can use, and it's disgusting that this is a tool that we have to use now. But it's called The Counted, and it's a live updating tally of the number of people killed by the police in the United States. Tony, you want to take a wild guess at the number that I'm looking at right now? Right? You're talking on the phone to somebody? I don't know. I want Tony, before I give the number, I want people to check. But I do want you to pull this up. I want you to save this on your computer somewhere where you can refer to it. Just Google The Guardian and The Counted. And it's, like I said, it's an ongoing count of the number of people that have been killed here. And Tony's not going to get enough the time for me to riddle him on this one. Here's the total number of killings in the United States. See if this number surprises you. This is to date, today, I believe. 634. 634. 634 people have been killed in the United States by law enforcement. 634. Does that number surprise you, Tony? I was going to ask you what you thought. Does that number shock you?
When did that tally start?
This year. This is 2015.
No, it doesn't. Not anymore. Last year, maybe.
That's good. You've been hanging out with me long enough now that
I think so.
You get it. But it's really cool, this whole thing. It really breaks it down by all kinds of demographics. Like it even breaks it down on race, which is something interesting that people often debate about here. This might surprise you going into it, but I'll adjust it here and I'll see why. Show you why. Race and ethnicity of the people killed: 309 white people, 167 black people, 95 Hispanic Latino, 43 other unknown, 12 Asian and Pacific Islander, and 8 Native American. So there's always that debate, it's like, Black Lives Matter, well, all lives matter, and people try to say that, it's white people get killed just as much. They do, and when you look at the numbers as a total right there, but when you break it down by per million, it's to date with the 634 killed, it's 1.56 per million white and 4 black. So it's clearly that black people, based on population, are getting killed at a higher rate based on the numbers of this thing here. But you should check that out. Let's talk a little bit about the cost of cops and their violent criminal behavior. And keep in mind, now, that number I gave you, 634, that doesn't mean that that's 634 unjustified cop killings, right? That's how many times police officers have killed a suspect, but Many of those probably not justified. Just saying. Just from what we've been watching. Here's something from the Wall Street Journal that talks about the police misconduct cost. It's the cost of resolving police misconduct cases has surged from the big U.S. cities in the recent years, even before the current wave of scrutiny faced by law enforcement over tactics. The 10 cities with the largest police departments paid out, $248.7 million last year in settlements and court judgments in police misconduct cases, and that is up 48%. Up 48% from the $168.3 million in 2010. That's a big jump. According to data gathered by the Wall Street Journal through public records requests, that's where they're getting this information. Those cities collectively have paid out $1.02 billion over those 5 years in such cases, which include alleged beatings, shootings, and wrongful imprisonment. When claims related to car collisions, property damage, and other police incidents are included, the total rose to more than $1.4 billion. Now, one of the things I love to point out when we talk about that when these police departments paid out $248.7 million last year, it's not like Officer Bob wrote a check for $248.7 million. No, that's Joe taxpayer. That's who pays for that.
Officer Bob collected a check, but didn't work.
Yeah, he got a check because he got to go on vacation.
Right.
For killing somebody. But you, the taxpayer, you pay for that. So for those people who are the staunch police defenders and who can't ever see a police officer doing anything wrong, maybe if you don't appreciate the lives being lost, maybe you want to talk about the tax dollars being lost. Is that maybe your trigger point? Is that where you're going to show some emotional response?
That's mine.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I think it's a perfect storm of people being more litigious,
right,
and cops being more aggressive at the same time.
Oh man. Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but I think there feels maybe feels not a base word because there's proof. When you look at the equipping, the militarization of police departments, when the more advanced aggressive training, if you're going to train them and equip them to be more aggressive, they are going to be more aggressive. That is going to be a thing that is going to happen, right?
Right.
Some additional proof to the pudding here. This kind of touches along the lines of city government, not directly police, but I'm going to kind of include this in here. This is a story that talks about a city paying off a blogger $200,000 for illegally banning her from filming. The city of Cummings must pay out $200,000 in a settlement with citizen journalists that comes after the blogger filed a federal lawsuit when the city illegally banned her from filming at a Cummings City Council meeting. Nydia Tisdale runs the website aboutforsyth.com, which she was reporting for when she was ejected from the meeting. Tisdale filed a lawsuit following her ejection by Mayor H. Ford Gravett. The mayor prevented her from filming the meeting, which was discussing a intergovernmental water source agreement between Forsyth County and the city of Cumming. The settlement sends a powerful message to government officials that should not. That didn't even get printed off in there. But basically, it's just another example of the amount of money getting sent out by either corrupt police, criminal police, or governments violating the rights of citizens. And that's, again, you can attach that to the police because I can think of no better violation of rights than a police officer killing you. Let's take another phone call real fast before the end of the segment here. Is that Lynette? Yes, it is Lynette. Lynette, how you doing?
Hi, Joey. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hanging in there.
Well, good. I was kind of confused by an earlier caller, Kerry. I know he meant well, but he was talking about Tom Hartman content. Tom Hartman has sponsors?
He does.
I don't understand why he's saying, I don't understand. I just understand. I know he's not on the line to say what he meant, but that's what sparked me to call, I guess.
Yeah,
so everybody has to have sponsors. In fact, Tom Hartman even says that he doesn't always know what his sponsors are, but he's got to keep the program going.
That's true. That's true.
Tom Hartman, I don't know what he's talking about. Tom's got sponsors.
Exactly, and he's got the advantage of having a 3-hour show, so you don't. It doesn't feel like a lot of sponsors when you're listening to a 3-hour show. All right, I've got just a little hour here that I got to pay for.
Yeah,
so
I
it
there's a
feels
lot
like
of
a little
sponsors. I mean, no, there's 3 hours of there's interruptions and it's sponsors and it's all there.
Yeah.
So I'm very upset about I'm upset about any time someone gets killed in police custody. That's what I mentioned before. Like if you get, you're in jail or that was just, I am so upset about the Sandra Bland thing. That is just so, but I know it's a number of many, and I've Facebooked a whole bunch of people and I've signed petitions, and I'm like, this has just got to not be tolerated.
Yep.
We just got to, this is ridiculous.
Did that number surprise you at all, the 634?
Well, no. I mean, I'm not really surprised. I called their off. I called the sheriff's office, and I also called the attorney's office, and I just said, no way.
Right.
That's a suicide? No way.
All right, Lynette. Thanks for calling in. I got to cut you short there.
All right. Thanks.
No one
Bye.
knows if there's UFOs or any life on Mars, or what they doing when they up in the stars, because I don't believe a word of what the president said.
You support local businesses, so it's time you get to know the locally owned Natural Pure Drinking Water. They're a family business that's been providing water for the Twin Cities since 1986. Their water is purified using reverse osmosis, effectively removing chemicals such as salt, magnesium, iron, fluoride, lead, and calcium, as well as bacteria. Their water is also treated with ultraviolet light to protect against all airborne bacteria. Natural Pure Drinking Water carries a variety of BPA-free bottles. Their bottles include 5 gallons, 3 gallons, 2 gallons, and 1 gallon. Servicing their machines every 30 days. This means you have plenty of options when you're providing water for your home or office. Using natural, pure drinking water makes excellent coffee, tea, and ice cubes, and you can find their water at many local retailers. They're online at naturalpuredrinkingwater.com, and be sure to check out their Facebook page. Ask for natural, pure drinking water at your local grocery store and select co-ops.
If you want to listen to Pardon the Dissent, but don't always have time to catch us live, each show is available as a podcast on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You can also live stream Pardon the Dissent and listen to us no matter where you're at. Just go to pardonthedissent.com and follow the live streaming instructions.
Pardon the Dissent. Back at you. Listen to us here on AM950. We appreciate you for doing that. Sorry, Carrie, I got to knock out another one of these live read commercials here. Close your ears. Another one of our great sponsors here at the Pardon the Dissent show is Minnehaha Recording Company. And if you've been listening to this show for more than an episode, you know that Tony Williamette, producer of the Pardon the Dissent show, owns Minnehaha Recording Company. We're all kind of juiced in together. It's weird. He has a studio, and he wants you to come to his studio and record stuff. If you want to record an album, if you want to record a podcast, if you just want to record yourself screaming into a wall about the number of people killed by law enforcement in this country, you can do that. All right? Go to his website. Check out some of the past recording work that he's done. That's minnehaharecording.com. minnehaharecording.com. And then once you've checked that out, give him a call on the telephone, 612-564-8088, 612-564-8088. Boom, commercial over. All right, I got 3 more stories here. I don't know if I'm going to get to all 3 of them. I'm going to try my best. If not, we're going to have that story saved for the podcast-only episode that we're going to do later in the week. So if you're not used to listening to podcasts, you may want to go to pardonthedissent.com, check out all the podcast options we have, and get yourself ready for that end-of-the-week podcast that we're going to do. All right, let's start with this story here. This is one of my points of passion. This story, where is this story from here? Oh, that got cut off too. I didn't do a really good job of printing today. Headline of the story, Predator Reaper drone pilots to get up to $135,000 re-up bonus. The MQ-1 Predator and the MQ-9 Reaper drone pilots will be eligible for retention bonuses worth up to $135,000 beginning in fiscal year 2016 under a new policy announced by the Air Force. Yay! Also, beginning this August, the Air Force plans to steer 80 undergraduate pilot training graduates, that doesn't make sense, directly into a drone squadrons instead of traditional manned aircraft. Here's a fun quote. In a complex global environment, remotely piloted aircraft pilots will always be in demand. This is Air Force Security Deborah Lee Jones talking here. Remarkable airmen have ensured the success of the MQ-1 and 9 programs. We now face a situation where if we don't direct additional resources appropriately, it creates unacceptable risk. Well, what would that risk be? Like the risk of not enough innocent civilians being killed? Enemy combatants. That's what they're calling them now. My fault. Air Force spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Chris Kearns said that the critical skill retention bonus will only be offered to pilots in the 18X Air Force Specialty Code, whatever the hell 18X means. 18X pilots who are reaching the end of their initial 6-year commitment can get the bonuses by agreeing to serve another 5 or 9 years. They will get $15,000 a year, meaning that they will either get $75,000 or winner, the $135,000. Again, that depends on how long they agree to stay. They can also choose to get 50% of their bonus as an upfront lump sum payment. Man, there is a lot of money in killing people with remote control aircraft, right?
With no risk anymore.
No risk whatsoever. Right? Okay, let's address some of the concerns here, the pushback that I get whenever I talk about this subject. Number one, let's talk about success rate of drone aircraft. I've read numbers anywhere as low as 40% to as much as mid-60s as far as success rate of drone aircraft attacks. Now,
what's success rate mean?
Success rate, I will tell you. Thank you for asking, Tony of Minnehaha Recording Company. See how I got the plug in there? Sorry, Corey. Success rate means, do they kill the enemy? Right? Whoever the enemy happens to be. So an example of an unsuccessful one would be like when they're trying to kill the enemy and then they don't, therefore making the mission unacceptable. Now, this is where the innocent civilian part comes in, because oftentimes when trying to kill a enemy combatant or a bad guy or whatever terminology you want to use, sometimes they miss them and instead kill innocent people. Sometimes when they kill the bad guy, they also kill innocent people.
Success.
Right? Yeah. Now, I can already hear the voices. But Joey, drones save military lives. They save the lives of our armed forces, right? I don't care. All right. Does that hurt your feelings? I don't care. And here's why I don't care, okay? Because those guys whose lives you claim they're saving, they signed up to be in the military, right?
Not anymore.
Oh, they did. It's all volunteer right now.
Now they're signing up, though, to pilot a drone craft.
Well, yeah, but it's still technically military, right? But the takeaway is here, they signed up. They volunteered to do it, right? And when you sign up to a military, I don't know if you've been hip to what war is lately, but sometimes you get killed in war. So you kind of need to go that going in, right? Here is why I empathize with the people getting killed by the drones. They didn't sign up for it, right? There's been thousands, I'm not exaggerating, thousands of innocent women, children, civilians, all sex, all shapes and sizes, killed by drones. They didn't sign up for this. They just had the bad stinking luck of getting born in a part of the world where there's some natural resources that we want, or maybe there's a poppy field that maybe we need to protect it for some reason. I don't know what that reason would be, but whatever, right? I don't want to see U.S. soldiers die. I don't want to see U.S. soldiers fight wars for made-up BS. I don't want to see any of that, right? But I'm not going to let my empathy and my compassion stop at my race or my country or some line on the map, right? Imagine if they did that here, right? Imagine if that's how we handled stuff here the same way, like with drones and the police, right? Like if there was a bad guy on your block, Tony, and he robbed the bank, and they need to get him because he maybe killed somebody during the robbery, so the police just decide to, I don't know, use a drone to blow up your whole street. Is that cool? Is that acceptable then?
There'd be some lawsuits.
There'd be some collateral damage there, huh?
Yeah.
Now, if we did that, though, people would be like, oh, you can't do that.
Of course.
Because that's my fellow American. That guy looks like me, smells like me. I don't know how Americans smell. We've got a very free smell. Whatever. I don't know. I can't stop caring. I can't get upset. Not get upset because of somebody in a foreign country getting blown up. If this is the reason you're signing up or re-enlisting is for this $135,000, find a different job. Do you need that money that much that you want to be a part of this, man? War sucks. People die in war. It happens. But this is, oh God, it's cowardless to me. It's just, how much time I got here? I can get one more of these stories in here. I was going to talk about Wesley Clark, too. I don't have time for that. I'll talk about that on the podcast. This is going to be the closest thing to a fun story that I'm going to have this time. Here's the headline. Florida church sends $1,000 collection notice to a single mother because she didn't tithe. Yep. Florida church sent a delinquency notice to a new member reminding her that worshipers were expected to pay $1,000 in required fees or face a possible removal. Candace Peterson said that she started attending the Greater Mount Moriah Primitive Baptist Church. Yes, primitive is in the name. That's deliciously ironic. About 6 months ago after moving to a new home in the Tampa area. But she received a troubling letter last week from the church. The single mother said that she received what amounted to a delinquency notice from her new church asking her to contribute $50 a month along with other assorted fees to remain to a member in good standing and to be able to vote on church matters. The church, which has been operated for more than a century, asked her to pay a yearly $250 anniversary fee and another $150 Mount Moriah Day fee amounting to $1,000, some of which would be set aside for church debt. The letter from Assistant Administrator Spencer and Pastor P.R. Fulton Jr. also reminded Peterson that her children, including her 11-year-old daughter, were expected to pay a $5 a month to the church, in additional to the two annual $15 fee. They want money from the kids too.
It's like a country club,
right? So what happens if you don't pay? Right? What if you don't pay your church stuff?
It goes to collections.
Do they repo your Jesus? Right? Is it a Jesus repo man? Does he come to your door? Excuse me, you haven't been paying for your Jesus. We've come for your soul. Right? Here's a quote from the letter. In order not to be removed from the church roll, your attention to this matter is greatly appreciated. The letter warned, but it did offer a 90-day hardship exemption. Right? Because that's what Jesus died for. He died on a cross for a 90-day exemption. Continuing. Peterson posted a copy of the letter on the church's Facebook page, where one church member, in good standing, in quotes, scolded the young woman for publicizing her complaints. This is the quote from the woman that was scolding her. "I love my church and my pastor," said Bonnie Maxwell. "I know people have their opinions regarding the letter, and that was sent out to this young lady and put over social media. I don't understand why so much negativity about paying a monthly assessment of $50 a month that you already knew about when you signed up. If you go to a club or bar or whatever you wish to call it every weekend, you're paying about $10 or maybe more to get in the door there. As Christians, we are required to be obedient," Maxwell said.
The worst club ever.
Worst club ever. Pay your cover to go to church. It's 2-drink minimum at the church. Buy 2 drinks. Pardon the dissent, guys. We'll be back in a minute.
There are things that drag us down, but there's a power and a vital presence that's lurking all
around. You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be
be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not
Pardon the Dissent. That's pretty much the show. At the end, we just come back here and there's 2 minutes. We play a little bit of a song, and then we say goodbye. So I guess this is goodbye. Until next time. Until the podcast episode that comes out later this week. Make sure you're going to pardonthedissent.com. I want you to go there tonight, get on your computer device, check out all the options we have. We have iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, any kind of way to hear the podcast. It's going to be super easy for you to do. So we're going to have that up either by Friday afternoon or by Saturday, sometime during the day. Thank you to the sponsors, Bell Bonds Doctor, Natural Pure Drinking Water, Minnehaha Recording Company, Stupid Simple Branding, and Scotty and the Don. And also thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Again, podcast later on this week. New episode of the live show will be back here Monday night, 11 p.m. here on AM 950. Guys, keep seeking the truth.
Makeshift patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself at half-mast. It's the makeshift, the patriot, the flag shop is out of stock. I hang myself. Don't wave your rights with your flags.
Camera.